What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and we need to talk about ATER Inc., ticker symbol ATER, because this stock has been seeing some pretty crazy action lately. We're down about 10% on the day, but we are hitting a very key resistance level. So let's take a look at the chart. And you can see right here that yesterday we had a massive red day that was not good for a lot of people who were holding ATER. And today we're down about 10%, although we have been up on the day. We've actually been hitting this support and resistance level of $10. Right now, it's acting as a bit of resistance, but this level is actually a lot more important than a lot of people probably realize. So if you look back at the past year, you can see that even about a year ago in 2020, this $10 level acted as a key resistance level that this stock ended up breaking through and then hitting highs of $48.99. You see, we struggled to break through it for several days, and eventually we did, and ended up shooting up much higher. And then on the way down, we actually used it as a support level, made a little bounce off of it before continuing our downward trend. And even more recently, we've hit this thing during part of this short squeeze pump up. We hit it when we made a previous high at $10, faded away, and then we hit it again right here, faded away, and then ended up breaking through and using it as a support for a little bit before continuing on our journey upwards to $20, which is where we've taken a turn and are now back to 10, right? So we've ended up dipping from 20 to 10, but a 50% decrease in stock price, which we saw mostly yesterday. And now you can see that even today, we are using 10 as a pretty key support and resistance level. We've had several bounces off of it here, even here. During the opening bell, we had a pretty big bounce off of 10. And since then, we've broken through and kind of been having some volatile action trading both above and below. Now we're kind of using it both as a support right here and a resistance. So we're going to have to see what happens with this $10 level, because this is actually kind of the crux of ATER right now. I think that there are some very important insights that we can gain from this $10 point, and based off of where we end today, could determine which way ATER ends up going in the future. So other than the $10 level, let's look at some other things that will give us some more insight into what's going on with ATER. For instance, the Ortex short data, we are up about 2.53%. More people are shorting this stock because they want it to go down, and you can actually glean a lot from looking at this yellow line on the chart, which shows the short interest percent of free float. And it also, shows it overlaid on the price chart, which are these red and green bars right here. So you can see that a lot of people were shorting this thing around $4 to $10. And then there was a massive dip in short interest, and that likely lines up with the huge shoot up in price that we experienced. That was a minor short squeeze that took us to $20. And since then, we've dipped down and are now moving back up. So more people are shorting this. They're loading up on short position. They think that maybe $10, $15, $20 is a good place to be buying, or rather selling their shorts, and getting this thing moving down further. And obviously, it could do that. This thing was down at $3 just recently, but it also has a lot of potential to be moving up, as it was at almost $50 just earlier this year, and not for an insignificant period of time, right? It wasn't just 1 or 2 days that it pumped up and then instantly got shot back down. It actually moved up fairly steadily over a couple of months, really, and sat there for maybe about a month, maybe a little bit less, and then over the couple of months after that has been trading down and down and down. Now, I do think that we have real potential for a short squeeze, because as you see, there is a 57% short interest percent of the free float, and that equates to 12.26 million shares. If you multiply that by the stock price, that's about $120 million that are shorted. Now, obviously, that's not a ton of money to institutions. The institutions can definitely weather this storm, especially, if this thing even doubles, it would only be $240 million that are shorted, spread across a couple of institutions. That's not going to cause a short squeeze in and of itself. What could cause a short squeeze is some of the earlier shorts who were potentially shorting around $4, $5, $6. They might end up having to cover, and that could push this thing up even more. And I do think that if we end up getting up to some of these prior highs, which obviously would be a difficult feat considering we're at $10 right now and are struggling to hold that as a support level, it looks like we're actually failing a little bit, then potentially we're not going to see the squeeze that we're all hoping for. Now, for full disclosure, I will talk about the trade that I took on this stock and what ended up happening with it. So I made another video a couple of days ago talking about my trading plan, and I was essentially on this day looking for a dip. I made the video when it was around here, and I was looking for a big dip in stock price where I could get in at, and I eventually found it. It wasn't as big of a dip as I had hoped, but this thing I saw had been hitting the $16 support level a couple of times. We bounced off of it 3 times, and eventually I realized that this thing was moving up. And once I saw this big crash downwards and making a higher low over here, we'd made 16 $16, we got a little bit below it over here, not quite as low over here, not quite as low during this. I wouldn't even call it a dip really. And then this was an even higher dip. I ended up buying on this bar as I saw we were moving up around $17 and something cents. And I ended up trying to sell my shares in the after hours. However, TD Ameritrade, their Thinkorswim platform wasn't quite working right, even though I had a very low limit price around probably 18 something dollars. This was more so a scalp than anything. I was just looking to make a quick about 10% profit on this thing. Even though, it was up at 1993 at one point, the order just wouldn't execute. So I ended up holding throughout the night. And once I saw this action that had been going on in the after hours and pre-market, I kind of realized what was going on because you could see a deterioration in ATER stock. And that theory that I had was confirmed on the first couple of bars after opening, and I ended up selling out for around 15.50 before this massive dump that we experienced. And, obviously that saved me a bit of pain, but what's important to note about that is that it can sometimes help to keep a very tight stop loss in these situations. Obviously, after I had sold, I did see this thing rally back up, and I understood that there was the chance it was going to continue moving up and make higher highs. That ended up not happening. 16 ended up acting more as a resistance than this day than it had as a support the day prior. So what we're looking at now is a very key level of $10. And if I do want to re-enter this trade, I'm going to need to see a couple of things. One, I'm going to want to see a lot of volume on the stock, and potentially I'm going to want to see a lot more interest in this stock on Google Trends and Wall Street Bets. Now, you can see the past couple of days it's gotten quite a bit of attention, and today that's kind of fading away. So that's not the most inspiring thing to see with a stock that we're hoping to get a short squeeze on, especially a small market cap like this where it's unlikely big whales will be coming in. Potentially they will, but I think that a lot of the strength that this is going to have is going to come from retail. And if this is waning on Google and also Wall Street Bets, you have to go down, I think, all the way to number 53 to see this thing. Not 53 there, 56. It's down at spot 56. It was down, it was at 43 the other day. So it's actually become less popular on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. This is, for anyone who doesn't know, is apewisdom.io. It basically just tracks the trending stocks on Reddit over the past 24 hours. So that's what this is. But it's actually lost interest and support on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. It's all the way down at 56. So I'm not liking that. But something that I would also have to see is that we are holding above the $10 support level, right? If we can end the day above $10, I might consider getting back in on this trade, because I think that if that does act as a support, then we could be looking at a somewhat significant bounce, right? Because we have seen this kind of pattern before where we come up very high to 10, then we dropped all the way down to around, the mid fives actually as our lows, and ended up making new highs once again. I think that could be the case another time. I think that this could be another pump up and down and up and down and then up again and down again. I think that might be the pattern this stock is going with, at least until it gets some more momentum behind it and some more retail interest. So, obviously I'm not trying to encourage anyone to trade this stock any certain way. I'm just making this video to inform you guys on my opinion and letting you guys know what I'm going to be doing with it. But you can see that even now we're actually breaking above 10. So this is pretty bullish in my opinion. Hopefully we'll hold this throughout the rest of the day. I'll really want to see that. Obviously, there's just some volatility going on, and this isn't indicative of the fact that we're going to stay above 10. We'll just have to wait and see about that. But if we do end up holding and I see us bounce off of 10 a couple more times, I would strongly consider getting back in. That's how I'll be trading. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, that's all I really have for you. So I hope you have a great day. If you like the video, then don't forget to click the like button, because that would be much appreciated. It really helps the channel out. Subscribe to the channel. Other than that, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.